Hello and welcome to the Quantum Dojo. I wanted to make this quick video today just to walk you through what the Quantum Dojo is, what it's all about, and most importantly, what that means to you and how we can best help and serve you. So the Quantum Dojo is kind of like 30 odd years worth of experience to do with 4 major pillars that we have in here. So I'll quickly walk you through those. We're actually very much set up for mission-driven entrepreneurs. And if you are already mission-driven, that will resonate with you immediately. But other words for it can be purpose-driven, can be heart-centered, can be spiritual-based businesses. Typically what that means in terms of conscious business, it means that people who are here for a reason, for a purpose, they want to give back, they want to do something, they want to create a lifestyle and a business around actually caring, supporting, nurturing. So it tends to be a lot of service-based businesses, but it can also be product-based businesses in terms of you've innovated something. So it can be anything from shoes to clothing to boxes to literally buildings to absolutely anything that we can innovate from a technological basis to impact infrastructures around the world and people. Now typically with conscious business, there's kind of 3 elements the way that we look at it. You've got conscious living, conscious leadership and conscious business. So conscious living is really about your choices on a day-to-day basis, companies that you buy from, things that you do, things whether you put it in your body, on your body, in your house, whatever, and it's all to do with the way that we are living. Leadership starts within leadership of yourself before we get to the business aspect of leading others. And then conscious business is really about the kind of structure and model of business that you want in terms of making sure that it's more conscious based versus capitalistic based, which will tend to be profit driven mostly. Conscious businesses on the other hand are really much more driven by the 3 P's, which is people, planet and then profit. So profits obviously is super important because without them there is no business. So one of the reasons why we are here and what our main kind of focus is with our clients is that as a quantum dojo, and I really want to kind of go into the 2 words there because sometimes people just think it's a neat name, there's not much to it, but kind of the opposite. So the personal kind of aspect of quantum and why that's really important is because within the quantum field you can dream up, create, build, bring into reality anything that you want. And if you just stop and think about our man-made world, every single thing in it started in somebody's head. It was an idea, it was a dream, it was a just inner calling, knowing. So everything from 3D printing to education to the way that what we live in terms of housing, to the foods we eat, people create dishes and so on and so forth. It's got a very wide spreading implications. So the quantum really is about understanding a little bit about quantum physics, understanding about metaphysics, and understanding how all those pieces fit together inside a business. And I understand at first look, most people think about the external aspects. So they go, okay, so I'm building a business, I'm building a lifestyle for myself. I need to go out and get A, B, C, D, E. Now, you probably do. However, what the foundations of what that's built on is incredibly important. So for example, your backstory, who you are, what challenges you've been through, maybe what traumas, what all kinds of things that make up you, who you are and why you're on this particular mission. They're incredibly important and central to the energy that your mission is giving out and indeed what outcomes you're going to receive on the other end of those external pieces. So the quantum we look at very specifically within our inner alchemy department, and that is really all about you. It's all about the way you think, you feel, you behave, you react, your patternings, your belief systems, core values, and on it goes. So they're really, really integral in that part. Now, when we look about the quantum field, what we're really wanting to do in terms of missions is helping people activate something, elevate it, and accelerate it. And the way in which we do that is through our 4 pillars. Now, the quantum piece is really about dreaming up ideas, aspirations, and anything you can possibly think of, and then how you're going to actualize that and bring it into your reality and then the reality of others. The dojo part of it is dojos typically, now there's like a Western and Eastern kind of concept of them, but I'm going to talk about dojos in a very traditional sense of what they were originally. So if you think about a sacred space that people would go into for development or actualization and different aspects of their inner journey. And that's why they often will say things like mind, body, spirit, which is really the other way around. It's spirit, mind and body, but you train the mind. Well, actually you train the body first. So we're training the body in the physical, which is a lot of what Western dojos focus predominantly on, the physical training of the body. That's only one small aspect, important but small. And then it goes into the mind and the way the mind thinks and functions, and into that spiritual aspiration of it. So if we think about it and we bring all those things together from a mission perspective, it's who you are as a being, how you think, what you do, and what you're wanting to bring through and out into the world. And the dojo is very important because it's basically, it will help you with things like focus, discipline, productivity, the way that you look at things, perspectives. It also teaches interdependence. So you're not on an island with a mission on your own. Now, that's not to say that you don't have everything you need already within, because we all do. However, we're very sort of social animals. And actually, if we've all got a particular expertise and a real thing that we excel at, doesn't it make sense to then hang out with and work with people that excel in their particular fields? Why would you need to suddenly become the master of all those different fields? Doesn't make any sense to, and there's not enough time in this lifetime to be able to be a master of all these different things. It's just really not a good use of your time. So part of that dojo experience would be talking about things like looking at interdependence. And when we go back into things like our ego, that can go back into the inner alchemy aspect, in terms of some people will refuse help, reject it, resist it, push it away. It's really their ego, because their ego wants to stay in control, it wants to stay in charge, and it wants to be, no, I've got this, I know what I'm doing, but it's not really about whether you know what you're doing or not. If you are mission driven, you want to get those things out to as many people as possible, as fast as possible. And I don't say fast in terms of get rich quick, I mean it in terms of we're on a mission, there's stuff to get done, and we want to get it done as fast as possible. So within Inside a Dojo is a very strong held space in terms of things that you can, aspects that you can connect to and people that you can work with in order to facilitate that much quicker. And if I just run through those 4 departments, so we've got the inner alchemy, as I mentioned, so that is really the part that's tapping the most into the quantum field. So that is all your foundational stuff. And it's also where Bushido will live as well. Bushido is like a core kind of underpinning teaching within a dojo in terms of the Bushido code and how you conduct yourself and how you behave in your thoughts, values, core beliefs, and so on. Next, we move more into the conscious business models themselves, because a lot of people don't really know what a conscious business model is, let alone how to design and create and build one. And as I said, there's 3 components to that: conscious living, conscious leadership, and conscious business. So there's quite a lot sort of jammed into that area. Next, we move over to the creative media. So now we get onto the exciting part of expression and creative expression of the mission. So that will be anything that has a creative element to it. So it will be, if we think about an online digital presence, and we think about a brand, and we think about a logo, and we think about colours, and we think about fonts, and we think about images, and we think about words, and we think about films. So it's everything that has a creative expression of that mission. And next, now we've got all this amazing energy and all this quantum lined up, and we've got this beautiful expression of it. It's now about the digital marketing piece in terms of getting it in front of the right people at the right time in the right way, because what works for one person is not going to work for another. And again, this is why that thread runs through all the way through. So therefore, in that aspect, we're looking at what is going to be the best fit for you, your personality, your mission, what it is that you're here to do, and where those people are and how best to find them. When we bring those all together, those 4 pillars build the foundations of that building, of that mission, of that dojo. And then they're all correlating together, so that we've got the quantum field working, we've got all that inner alchemy working, we've got a very clearly defined structure, and then we've got those beautiful expressions of the creative into a very specific strategic way of sharing that with people on a day-to-day basis. So hopefully that gives you a good kind of rounding of who we are and what we do. And there's many different experts in those areas. So the really cool thing about that is that you are enabled to have really amazing conversations with different people, and they'll give you different ideas and perspectives and viewpoints and insights that could be because they've come from a blind spot that we just couldn't see it. It could be from the I don't know what I don't know aspect, and it could be just be an educational piece that wherever you are on that entrepreneurial journey, you meet people and go, oh, okay, that's another thing I've learned. That's another aspect of it. That's another thing that I've taken on board. And the key thing really for me in a dojo in terms of interdependence is the old-fashioned phrase is, it's teamwork that makes the dream work. If anybody's been in a dojo in a physical thing, I used to be a former Team GB kickboxing champion. I didn't get that because of me. I got that because of my instructors and teammates. It actually wasn't something that was even in my quantum field. I actually went at martial arts for a completely different, I don't even know why I went into it. I was called into it. But the point I'm getting to is then people around me spotted things in me and went, okay, we could do this with you, we could do that with you, and so on. And then I started to have experiences, and I started to really understand the power of this interdependent relationship, and then what it brought out in me and what it saw in me, and then what it could help me do, and then what I could, through my beliefs and my actions and behaviours, what I could achieve and pull in. I started to get really, really interested in that collapsing timelines and future and the whole kind of quantum physics aspect of it. But if you've had any experiences where you've done something solo, doesn't mean that you can't do it. And like there's certain things you have to do solo. So if you are an author or a speaker or a teacher or something, there's parts where you are it. That is your expertise. That is what you're going to be delivering. But then there are other parts of that where maybe you're somebody who's not so technical, so technical people are useful to you. Maybe you're somebody that's not that great in terms of organisation, so people that are really good at systems and structures are priceless to you. Maybe you're somebody who feels like, I just want to be doing the content, but I'm not that bothered about the detail orientatedness, so I can't really be bothered to be doing all this editing and so on and so forth. So this is why it's really, really important to understand your massive strengths, gifts, powers, and all that kind of piece, and how that fits inside a mission, and then the pieces that maybe would be supporting roles to you to elevate that even more. And again, this is why I mentioned about the ego. So you have to kind of let all that go, because this isn't about criticizing anybody or saying anybody's not good enough or they're not enough. It's nothing to do with that at all. It's just about I always liken it to like Knights of the Round Table. And it's like sitting down at a table with all these different experts and masters, and providing that they're all brought together in an aligned reason for the right thing in the right way. Think about what magic, what alchemy can produce from that table, and how that can elevate a mission. There is nothing more powerful than that. So for me, it makes no sense. It's a no-brainer not to want to hang out in those kind of circles. And if you're anything like me, who, you know, we're kind of what's that word that we're kind of design we're pigeonholed with, you know, like kind of personal development junkies, all those kind of things. It just means that you are very open-minded and you're very expressive, and you want to learn, you want to elevate, you want to, you know, it's like I meet people all the time with various different innovations and technologies, and I learn about things. I'm like, oh my god, that's a no-brainer. Why would you not want that? And they sort of sit there going, well, yeah, exactly, that's how I feel. So how do I share that to the right people? And that's where your messaging and the creative media and everything comes into its power. Because sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees because you're in it and you're emotionally attached to it. And therefore, sometimes you're not the best person to necessarily be able to articulate it, which is why we have copywriters and why we have artists and amazing filmmakers. So it's just, that's why you would utilize all those people, because they get to see and understand you and bring things out of you and kind of pull it all together in a way that you wouldn't have done it yourself. But you still need to have creative control in the sense of it's still your baby, it's still your mission, whether it's your team, your company, your business, of course. So this isn't about, you know, pushing. This is not like, you know, an example I heard the other day, for example, if you have a book come out and you go to a traditional publishing house, typically they take full control. So they're going to have it edited, they're going to have the book cover design done, they're going to market it and so on, and they're going to take the lion's share of the profit as well. Now, for a lot of people, that's great. They don't mind. They just want the book out there and it's a little tick for them for that particular book. For other people, that is too much anxiety and too much thing because they've lost creative control. So for that particular person, they might want to go down the indie publishing route, not vanity publishing, but indie publishing route, in terms of having creative control of what the jacket's like, and, you know, and all the other pieces that can go with it, whether they have a digital program with it, whether they do a speaking tour, blah, 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 whatever the different thing is for them. And that's something, again, going back to the conscious business model, that's really important, that you have people to talk to that understand all the different variants and the different kind of what it means and what the connotations of them for, so they can guide you and say, okay, well, getting to know you and your personality and what you want, this is probably going to be the best route for you. But somebody else, that might not be the best route at all. So that's why all conscious businesses and the way that we create missions end up very, very bespoke, and you'll never see two out there the same. You wouldn't be able to tell our work by going, that's their style, this is what they churn out, because we never do the same thing twice, because it's as unique as your thumbprint. So it's not possible for us to do that, which is why I'm wildly against generic things, and I get a little bit of a cringe if people, I'm not going to say certain technologies names, because it's not that they're bad companies, it's just that it helps people go down a mediocre path of generic, and they go, oh, I've seen this and this online, so I want to just copy it to do the same. And that horrifies me, because you look unique and individual as a person, and your mission is, and your messages and your audiences. So why would we all want it to look the same? It makes no sense to me. So this is for you if you are passionate about that kind of thing. You're passionate about your mission and your messaging, how you get it out there and what it looks like, and you care about all these different factors, then we're a great space for you. We're not like an agency in that sense. If you are somebody that's like, okay, no, really, I just want to knock this up, knock it out, make as much money as I can, and I don't really want to spend much, and I don't really want to invest anything on myself or on what I do, then we're definitely not going to be a good fit for you. You would be better off going to a box standard kind of marketing agency. But we are a HQ for missions, and we do missions start to finish, the whole thing holistically. So if that sounds of any interest to you, you know, feel free to join our $1 Million missions Facebook group. Email is limitless@thequantumdojo.com. Watch some of our content. You know, just get in touch if you want to. There'll be a call link below if you are somebody that really resonates with, and you've got a project or something what you're working on right now, and you would like to have some thoughts or ideas. How we typically work, just so you've got a complete transparency of it. is we will get to know you, we will listen to you, and we'll figure out some options and ideas for you. And if both parties think it's we're going to have a good relationship, then we will send you some ideas and thoughts. If you get to the point where you're like, yep, that's something I'd want to pursue, then we send you out like a full proposal of everything that it entails and all the different costs and elements, and you get to decide what you do. So you have full control over it and what you do and don't do, but we will always lead with our best ideas and say, right, okay, this is what we think for you is the kind of biggest aspiration, but then we'll chunk it down into depending where you are, because some people are just starting out. So some people might be trying to make 50k, 100k just to get going. Some people might already be at 6, multi-6. Some people might be at 7, going multi-7. Some people have a desire to create a 7-figure mission, but they might be at the minute just, like on 5k months. So every single person is different. So we have to take all of those things into account, the way that we would look at you and what we'll advise for you. We're not going to give somebody who's trying to get to a 6-figure business, we're not going to give them a 7-figure strategy with a 7-figure price tag, because that would be ridiculous. They couldn't do it. But equally, we do like to stretch people. And again, with the quantum field, we like to sort of push boundaries and go, okay, we could actually create this. And then that will be so many layers of metamorphosis as we go. But obviously we start at the first rung. So hopefully that gives you a good kind of welcome to us and how, who we are, what we do and why we do it, and just everything you could possibly want to know in a nutshell of 20 minutes. But as I say, if you've got any questions for us, just jump on any of our social media. We're always here to help, and we offer lots of freebies and things like that we can give out and help you. And then, get to know you, create a relationship, help you on the journey, and then go from there. So have a wonderful day. We look forward to hearing all about you, your journey, your story, your hero's journey, and, your mission and what aspirations you have for it in the future. Have a lovely day, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.